I got a scar on the forehead on the sun visor. The police came, and they called for the ambulance. One ambulance came. I got in the ambulance to take off, the transmission went out. They called another ambulance. It came. I got out of the ambulance and got into the other ambulance. It wouldn't start. They called another ambulance. It came. I got in. So they said, well, we're going to carry you to the hospital. So they carried me to the hospital. When I got to the hospital, they said, well, they're going to have to take me to a dental specialist. So that was all the way in Albuquerque, New Mexico, right? Almost 80 miles. However, the people that transported me was a husband and wife team. His name was Moses. And his wife's name was Irma. Now, Irma was a sister that told me things that I haven't got to the end of it yet. But it wasn't her that was telling me. So I said, oh, now I see. Everything is clicking. So I had the vision. It actually happened. And the people, to make sure that I got the message, because they told me, don't drive no more. So I said, well, no, this is before it happened. I said, no, well, I got to pay the rent, I got to pay my phone bill, got to finish paying the car off, and then owe no more than about $600-700 on the car. So I'll do that, and then I'll stop. But in the meantime, I'll just slow up real slow. But they didn't say that. They said, stop. So I asked them, I said, well, how am I going to make it? They said, well, you'll be taken care of. But I didn't follow the instruction. So I had the accident.
Right.
And then to let me know, here's Moses,
right,
which Elijah is the fullness of.
Right.
And here's Irma that told me, she invited me down to my hometown, which is in Eastern Shore, Maryland, down by Salisbury. And I went. And from about 4 o'clock until 12 o'clock midnight, she just told me a whole lot of things and pointed out a lot of things in the heavens and told me what I was going to be doing with it. In other words, what she was saying, there's no way in the world she knew what she,
right.
That was already the question. That wasn't even my question, did she know what she is? But I was soaking it all in. And at 12 o'clock, midnight, right on the dot, we was inside. She said, I got to sing a song for you. And I know the sister couldn't sing because I remember her.
Right.
A brother came in, a town drunk, or a community drunk, stumbled in the door. He'd never been there. He just stumbled in. She just looked at it and said, get out. The brother acted like he lost his high and everything and stood up straight and did a about face and stepped out. I was looking at it and I said, whoa. Then she sang, I ain't heard nothing like that before or since. And Patty is good.
Right.
But Patty she couldn't touch that. I ain't heard nothing like it since then.
To this day, looking back even on that experience, what do you believe was the source of her message, so to speak, to you?
Well, when you have a child, and to put it in its proper perspective, I am the man-child. I'm a man. However, even in the knowledge that I was acquiring that actually fit me to be me, to actually for me to go into expressing this, I was still a child. Mm-hmm. So all of these different things took place to make sure that it properly nourished who I really am. So with these kinds of experiences, no one can come and tell me that I'm crazy. Right. Because there's too many things that bear witness to what I really am and who I am. So I don't rely on what people say because they have been brought up and baptized in sin. So their whole mindset is shaped by that. So because they hear what I'm saying or doing, and then they want to come up and prove that it's not, it's impossible. Because I have too much experience, I have too much knowledge. I know the past, I know the present, and I know the future. I don't think it, I know it. So, and these particular things, this is how, instead of having a mother and father like everybody else does, and then they grow up, and they love mom, love dad. Well, I've had events, growing up with and in events that is profound and left a definite impression that makes sure that I'm not relying on anything to justify me as to who I am or what I am.
Most religions, when they speak about the kind of, I want to say transcendent experiences that you have had, but somehow, even in this conversation, I don't think that word fits the experiences you have had. I think they're more powerful than that. We speak of belief, but you use the word with such an absolute certainty. I even see it in your posture, know. I want, if you could you draw a distinction for me when you express that you know? Generally in the West, we say that if a person knows something, that they have facts by which they can prove it.
Yes,
but somehow I get the sense that there's a little bit more involved in that when you say no. If you could elaborate on that.
Yes, sir. It is advised that you are to get knowledge, wisdom, and out of all of that get understanding.
Right.
Well, I don't have to get it. I am that. So when I speak or whatever I do, I know what I'm doing. Most of the time, to allow someone else to learn so they will know what I know. I'm very merciful. That's why it says, God is always turning to mercy more so than any other attribute that he has. Because he has to, in order for the person to learn. It's like a parent with a child. You always got to be merciful with them because they're learning. And it's our duty to teach them. Well, I was taught through events and through signs and symbols and through a system and a method that's infallible. So that causes me to know that I know that I know. And I don't have the knowledge. I don't have understanding. I am that. So that's why I'm able to speak the way I speak and do what I do. And at this level of me expressing myself is very, very minuscule. Believe me. Very, very minuscule. For the lack of an expression, I'm almost suffering in this posture of waiting to get to the next level. And what's determining the next level is the acceptance of our people. If they don't accept it, well then I got to take them out. I'd much rather they accept it, so it's taking me right to the limit, waiting for them to have some kind of drive for real knowledge that gives them real power, that takes them out of belief. Because all of the religions and everything that people, not even just religion, just in business itself. If you're dealing with a person, they say, well, man, I sure hope